Let's take a journey, one not only through the concrete corridors of Toronto's unfinished Sheppard subway line, but also through the deeper recesses of political economy, capitalism, and the neoliberal decision-making process that continues to shape urban transit in the 21st century in the city of Toronto. We're going to talk about a simple question on its face. Should the Sheppard subway be extended east to Scarborough Town Centre or west to Downsview and connect with the Spadina line, now called Line 1? But like so many questions under capitalism, the answer is not dictated by logic, need, or social good. It is dictated by capital, profit, real estate, and class. And so we begin. The Sheppard subway as it exists today is a stub, a ghost of a plan envisioned in the 1980s. It just runs 5.5 kilometers from Yonge to Don Mills with 5 stations. 5. You cannot run an effective city-building subway line with 5 stations. Now, why was it built in the first place? Because Mel Lastman, the then mayor of North York, wanted it. And in the 1990s, when the Mike Harris government was slashing transit funding, he had enough political capital to get this line greenlit while others were cancelled. In fact, it was supposed to go further east to Victoria Park, then to Scarborough Town Centre, a proper terminus. That part never materialized. Meanwhile, the original vision to connect west to Downsview, creating an orbital link across the northern suburbs, was dropped altogether. So we begin not with a rational transit network, but a political truncated line built not to serve the people, but to reward a particular area, a particular group of property developers, and a particular political faction. We're talking about the state being used not for the many, but for the few. Let's examine the idea of extending the line eastward first. Now you might say, of course we should go east. There's nothing but transit deserts, working class immigrants, apartment blocks, and long congested bus commutes out there. Surely that's where the need is greatest, and you'd be right. The east end of Sheppard, past Don Mills and through Agincourt, Malvern, and on to Scarborough Town Centre, is home to thousands of people who rely on public transit. They take buses that are packed to the rafters. They wait in the cold. Their commutes are long, and they are underserved. These are the people who cannot afford cars, who depend on transit to get to jobs and often pay just enough to get by. If you believe, as I do, that infrastructure investment should prioritize need, then the east is the answer. A subway here would dramatically reduce commute times, increase access to employment, and stimulate growth in a part of the city long ignored by the political class at Queen's Park. But, and this is crucial, the land out east is already built up. You won't get much gentrification out of it. You won't get as many shiny new towers. You won't get the windfall profits for developers who are already looking for greenfield sites to build on. In other words, you won't get that juicy real estate speculation that our political elites salivate over. And so, even though the eastward extension to Scarborough makes sense for society, it makes less sense for capitalism. This is the fundamental contradiction under capitalism. What's best for the people is often not what's best for the profit system. Now let's flip the coin. What happens if we go west? A western extension would connect Sheppard Yonge to Sheppard West, formerly Downsview, on Line 1. You would create an orbital subway line, an incredibly rare thing in Toronto, which is heavily radial. Right now, if you want to go from North York to York University, you often have to go downtown first, then back up again. That is absurd. A western extension would help fix that, and importantly, it would run through an area that is being actively redeveloped, the Downsview lands, Bombardier's old factory grounds, and near Yorkdale, a booming commercial and residential district. The province and developers see this as a major opportunity to reshape that part of Toronto. And so this is the key. Capital sees value here. You extend west and you could unlock billions in new real estate value, especially if you loosen zoning. You create TODs, transit-oriented developments, and you watch as the towers go up and the condos sell like hotcakes to overseas investors. The subway becomes a tool of speculation, not service. So is this a bad thing? Well, it depends on who you are. If you're a working-class resident in Scarborough waiting 20 minutes in the snow for a bus, it's an insult. If you're a real estate developer sitting on acres of land in the West End, it's a gold mine. Capitalist governments from Doug Ford to John Tory are not neutral arbiters of public good. They are instruments of capital accumulation. They build where profit dictates, not where people cry out. We also have to consider how Metrolinx, the provincial transit agency, behaves. They are currently building the Ontario Line, a massive mega project that will serve the downtown east. But they are not investing in projects like Sheppard East, even though the planning is much simpler. The community need is much greater, and the line could actually be completed within 5 years if the political will existed. But will it? No. Metrolinx is obsessed with P3s, public-private partnerships, which are designed to benefit consortiums, not the public. Just look at the Eglinton Crosstown debacle. Over a decade late, massively over budget, and still not running. And they want to use the same approach for future projects. You cannot understand these transit choices unless you understand class struggle. The Sheppard Line, east or west, is not just a line on a map. It is a battlefield. It is the site of competing visions of what a city should be. So let's return to the question. Should the Sheppard subway be extended east to Scarborough or west to Downsview? From a needs-based, socially just perspective, one that prioritizes working people, equity, and mobility, the answer is clearly east. Finish the original vision. Bring fast, reliable, rapid transit to a part of the city that has long been ignored. But from a capitalist, profit-maximizing perspective, the answer is west, because that's where the condos are going. That's where the land is primed for speculation. That's where money is to be made. And unless you and I organize, unless we fight back against this neoliberal logic, the decision will not be made for the people. It will be made for the developers. It will be made by Metrolinx and a board, not accountable to voters. It will be made behind closed doors at Queen's Park. In closing, let me be clear. Transit planning is not neutral. It is political. Every kilometer of track, every station, every budget line, it is all shaped by who holds power and whose interests are being served. We must not accept the logic that transit must pay for itself. We must reject the idea that subway extensions must be justified by developmental potential. Transit is a human right. It is a public good. It is how working people get to jobs, school, and family, and that means we must organize not for what's profitable, but for what's just. I hope that this video has opened your eyes a little bit and given you some more perspective. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions about which way the Sheppard subway should be extended first. I hope that you liked the video. If so, please give it a like. If you're not subscribed and want to be notified of new videos that are released, please click on the Art Toronto button here. This is the video that I would recommend for you to watch next, and I'm sure that you're going to love it. Here's the playlist for all of the latest in transit news and views that you're going to find very informative and interesting. And finally, here is the latest video. Thanks for watching, and happy transiting.